World War II was the last war where propeller planes dominated the battlefields and the sky. With the advent of the jet engine, air forces switched to jets and relegated propeller planes to training duties. Yet some aircraft did not get the memo and not only remained in frontline duty, they even saw combat. This is in a nutshell the story of 5 of the last gunfighters. We start with the Grumman Bearcat. The first Bearcats were delivered to Fighter Squadron 19 but arrived too late to see combat in World War II. Serving with both U.S. Navy and the Marines, the Bearcat was an excellent fighter that in some cases could outperform contemporary jets. Nevertheless, the Bearcat was withdrawn from active duty in the U.S. to make way for carrier-based jets like the Grumman F-9F Panther. The French Air Force bought 200 Bearcats and used them in ground attack roles during the Indochina War. Later on, Bearcats ended up in the South Vietnamese Air Force, performing the same role until they were replaced by another flying anachronism, the A-1 Skyraider. You would be forgiven if you mistook the Aviat S-199 for a Messerschmitt Bf-109. The Aviat S-199 was a copy of the German Messerschmitt Bf-109 and, in an ironic twist of fate, would play a role in the early days of the Israeli Air Force. Israel declared its independence on May 14, 1948, to which its neighbors Egypt, Transjordan, Syria, and Iraq reacted with an invasion starting the First Arab-Israeli War. In dire need of fighters, Israel ordered 24 S-199. The planes were built in Prague from leftover parts. In comparison to the original Bf-109, the S-199 had another engine and different propeller. Further modifications to the aircraft made it unsuitable for air warfare. Regardless their flaws, Israel deployed the aircraft. And to great success because the first air-to-air victories occurred in AS-199 when Israeli pilots shot down 2 Royal Egyptian Air Force C-47s. But the Avias were not the only Messerschmitt's copies. The Spanish Hispano Aviation built Bf-109 under license for the Spanish Air Force. The Spanish aircraft were retired in 1965, but would find a second life as stand-ins for the Bf-109 in movies like Battle of Britain, Memphis Belle, and Dunkirk. Shortly after the war, the Soviets deployed the Lavochkin La-11, which they put to good use against Taiwanese fighters and bombers while protecting Chinese airspace above Shanghai. But eventually the La-11 had to make room for the MiG-15. The North Koreans used the La-11 to intercept American night bombers during the Korean War. They also attempted to intercept the B-29 Superfortresses, but the La-11 was ill-equipped and at a disadvantage against the B-29. Not only took it the La-11 26 minutes to reach the B-29's cruising altitude, the La-11 only had a speed advantage of 12 miles per hour or 20 kilometers per hour. The fourth plane in our list, the Hawker Sea Fury, had the double distinction of being both the last carrier-based piston-engine fighter and fastest propeller-driven fighter to serve combat with a top speed of 460 miles per hour or 740 kilometers per hour. In the Korean War, Sea Furies were primarily tasked with ground attack missions and combat air patrols. During one of these missions, a flight of 4 Sea Furies were bounced by 8 MiG-15s. In the ensuing dogfight, one of the Sea Furies downed a MiG-15, one of the few occasions where a propeller-driven plane shot a jet down in Korea. The last gunfighter on our list is perhaps the best known of them all, the A-1 Skyraider. The reason the Skyraider remained in service for so long, until 1973 with the U.S., were its strengths compared to the contemporary carrier jets, a payload of 8,000 pounds and the ability to loiter for hours over the battlefield. Skyraiders would perform ground attack duties in both Korea and Vietnam, even with the arrival of more capable planes like the A-6 Intruder and A-7 Corsair. In Vietnam, the first gun kill against a MiG-17 was done by a Skyraider, proving that like all these outdated gunslingers, in the hands of a capable pilot, they still were a force to reckon with. Thank you for watching. Follow these links to see other aviation videos I made.